For today's video, we are picking up right where we left off, and that is we're in an expedition, we've done the draft, and we've played 2 games. We're 1-1, so we cannot lose again or our run ends. We lost in a nail biter, specifically to a Kinku Lifeblade, because it turns out that card is busted, even in expeditions. But right now we have to make a trade pick, and on the one hand, we have this pack mentality. It's not great, but it actually would have won us the game if we would have drawn it exactly 1 turn sooner the last time around. And I'm not sure that Ancient Yeti ends up being that much better than this for us. Catalyst is a card we've been wanting to potentially trade out and get rid of. However, Catalyst here would be trading for a 4th Alpha Wildclaw, and that's just not a card I want 4 of in my list. It's good, but we don't want to be too overloaded on the top. So then our last choice is we could get rid of an Omen Hawk, which is solid, and it's one of the better opening plays we have. But we would add a Bull Elnuk, which means pack mentality would be a little more effective, and it also means that these troops could pull more Elnuks as well. So we have to, say to ourselves, is that what we want to do? And as much as I feel like that is cheeky and fun, and I know I've said that we're like all in on the Elnuk train, I think keeping the Omen Hawk is correct. So we're going to skip this trade. And again, we just lost. We went 1-1. Both games we've had crazy troop of the Elnuks, but that last game we lost specifically to a Lifeblade. Like the 3 health that they gained was enough to keep them alive. If you didn't catch yesterday's video, you should go check it out. But we're gonna go into this, and it's do or die. This could be a very short video series if I end up losing here. We don't want any of these in our opener. Like, you could argue maybe I should keep this so I have something to play early, but okay, well, it got worse. It got significantly worse. Like, the troop is great, but we don't want both of them because we want to increase our chances of hitting Elnuks. But more importantly, despite not running a massive amount of top end, that's all we have is top end. So if we don't draw something we can play by next turn, I will immediately regret not having kept that 3-drop. You don't normally think that finding a 3-cost card or less is going to be your issue, but this is the world we live in now. So they're going to take the free 2 damage, and I don't blame them. We're going to play the Omen Hawk and then cry. We need one of these to hit big then. Like real big. Alright, Phantom Prankster. Not what we want to see because we have to assume they're going to have a lot of ephemeral options. We're going to play our Ash. And then again, we're just going to be hoping that we kind of high roll with some Elnuk chicanery. Now the good news is if we don't just outright die to Phantom Prankster, we have a lot of late game bombs. Like, we can really pressure them with just massive units for the rest of the game, but this slow start and the fact they've developed a Prankster that the reality is we don't have a lot of good ways to deal with. I mean, we have some Challenger units that can get the job done. That's actually a pretty solid play for them. Stand together. This is a tough call. I know this is just going to get blocked here. Yeah, let's leave it. Let's, I guess, just swing with the Ash. Alright, so they could have, something like Death Mark, huh? Alright, well. Not great for us, but not much we can do. Alright, so that's a way that we can deal with the Prankster, so that's kind of nice. Nothing we can do about this, though. It's going to be more damage we take. So we really need to hit here. Pray to the Elnuk God. Well, alright, it's good enough. This survives, and this can chump. And that was... Again, we're going to take damage from the Prankster, but that was enough to give us a little bit of a break. Next round, we're absolutely going to need to develop this to try to get rid of this. But with everything being so expensive, like the problem is we can play that, but we have nothing that costs 4 or less to play in conjunction with it. Like we're routinely able to drop bombs, but then that's just all we can do, which is potentially spelling disaster against Ionia because they're like one will of Ionia away from just shredding us. This at least gives us another play. We'd like to get this developed at some point as well. Alright, Hecarim is not great for us. Ordering matters. So the reason you do this is you want this to die before this dies, because if you do it in the other order, you're going to take 1 damage when this dies. Because everything resolves left to right. And is, again, just not something that you want to do. So you do this. We also want to attack with this. If they block with Hecarim, it gets 3 damage on the Hecarim, and then maybe we can kill it next turn. Otherwise, it might just eat a 1/1. We're fine with that as well. But this is our best chance here. Alright, so they go with Mark. Mark does mean that we're still going to take 2 damage here because this... actually, no, this is going to die because it's ephemeral and they die when they strike. So it kills our unit. That part's a bummer, but we get rid of the prankster, and that's the important piece.
Does death follow me?
So this is going to, again, buff them. 3 or less health, which is literally just this. So as cool as this is, it's not great. However, if we play one of these wild claws, we can at least block Hecarim and kill it. And then just sacrifice the rest of our board to not dying. So this is a pretty important play. I mean, that's obviously annoying for us as well, but right now we're just trying to stem the bleeding. We just want to not die. And if this was enough to make them not attack with Hecarim, then that's also kind of a win. Alright, they have figured it out. So this definitely goes here. This would have us taking 7. They have 2 cards in hand, so even if it's like double Mark of the Isles, that's not enough to kill us. We'd be left at 2 health. Keeping this Challenger unit is important because we want to get rid of that, so it's worth the risk. Alright, so they'll actually get to save the rider. This will die, but we get rid of the Hecarim. So if they have something like Rekindler next turn, that's going to be a bad time for us, but... Two cards in hand. We have this for potentially the following turn. Again, we want this to try to eat this. This is kind of a tough call. On the one hand, you could play Sentry and Troop for potential like additional blockers and then try to develop this a little bit later. I think defending our health total is actually the right way to go. So we're going to play the Troop here just to kind of go wide. And then depending on what they do, we'll go from there. We're going to end up playing this this turn one way or the other. They didn't play anything, so we'll develop it. They might be sitting on a combat trick to try to keep this alive, but this is still what we want to get rid of here. Oh, they have 2 cards. So they have the box and a grasp. Like, I'm not even angry, I'm just impressed. So they save this. Gain some health. They are only down to a top deck, and this by itself, even with the open attack, won't hit us too hard. Now, that is certainly problematic. So we're going to need an answer for that. We can get 2 damage on it with our Anivia. And then potentially shut it down in future turns with the Rime Tusk. For now, though, because it's at 3 health, what we're going to do is we're just going to Icy Yeti. Right? Icy Yeti is our best defensive play here. Because it frostbites this, and it's a blocker for that. So Yeti buys us the turn that we're looking for. Oh, that's beautiful. So now we can develop this.
A new era begins.
Now they'll still have their 1 card in hand, and it's a student, and we don't care about that so much. We'll go ahead and develop the Rime Fang, because Rime Fang will just challenge there. And yeah, we can just bring the house. We're fine with trading this. As long as we get rid of the elusive, we don't have to worry about it. Everything's fine. Now they can block. Like, this is free block, but
Left foot.
we've hit the late game stage. I don't think with them only drawing 1 card per turn that they can effectively come back from this, because we just have way too many late game bombs at this point. It was a bit dire there until we stabilized, but I think we've officially stabilized. So we can develop Rime Tusk here, and then also this. And then next turn again, just kind of go with an open attack. They only have the 1 card in hand.
Like all the Freljord's children.
Oh, so that's what they were holding on to. They were kind of hoping to copy something, but yeah, I mean, they have no cards in hand, so we can block with this, and we know that this is just going to safely come back
I will be reborn.
as Anivia. We might play that differently if they still had cards in hand, but
Sends chills up my spine.
we don't want to risk the Rime Tusk, but we will happily attack with everything else. We could have been greedy and maybe played like Tryndamere here, but again, we're trying to just not take any risks, right? And we get the surrender. So we are not eliminated. We get to survive, keep this expedition run going. Again, could have been greedier there, could have played Tryndamere. There's no real reason to risk it, though. We want to keep things moving. It's going to drive me nuts if I leave that there. So we're actually in the middle of this video. We're going to go open some rewards. Everyone likes opening packs anyway, right? And that's okay. We'll get some more shards here as well. No like cool champion upgrades, but then again, I never get them. Even with my vaults, I haven't had a single champion upgrade in any of my vaults, so it's just not something that happens. But we're gonna go here. This is an interesting decision to make. How hard do we want to go with the Bull Elnuks? Both of these are great, but I think keeping the cheaper option is probably correct. We've been struggling to find early game, so even though I absolutely love Harsh Winds, I think keeping the body here is correct. This is just a question of, like, again, how deep do we want to go down the Elnuk train? Elnuks have been saving our butt, so we're going to do it. We're just going to do it. I mean, we're filming this for YouTube anyway, right? Like, you do it for the tube. We wish it was a troop. Like, the bulls are nice and you want them in your list, but the reality is we wish it was a troop. We need more ways to guarantee we're pulling them. And with only 2, it's a bit sketchy. And it looks like we're in for a long, drawn-out battle. We're in a Freljord versus Freljord fist fight. Now, my biggest concern here, this is actually a great opener for us. My biggest concern is they only show Anivia and Braum. Well, we show all three. So if they have 2 Anivias to R1 and they have increased chances of finding it, they have the edge. Because Anivia is like the bunker buster in this matchup. But we have a like 1 through 5 curve. So we're going to do our absolute best to try to pressure them prior to that. That is going to be the goal. And that's a nice alternative. It's a nice alternative to the Rhyme Tusk. So we're going to see what we can get going here. And they pass. We're going to go ahead and develop a Stefan. And see what they have. And alright, they pass. So we're just gonna walk right into the trap, right? They have a combat trick, then they have it. Not much we can do, but they don't. So push a little damage. Sentry is gonna draw them a card, but we had no way around it anyway. And again, we're just gonna try to ride our curve a bit. It's another great card to potentially play on curve. So they will likely push the 4. Nothing we can do, but we get a great open attack this next round. And we absolutely take the open attack. Even though we could be greedy and play these, we just want to try to push the damage. Like I said, with them showing this, we're a bit worried about their Anivia. So they hit a troop before us. The irony is strong. This is our better blocker. Like, this is nice, but this soaks in trades. The other one kind of stalls. So we're going to go this route and then maybe try to develop this turn for another good open attack. We're going to hope that Ash is enough to push us forward. Ash is the truth. Ash is love. Ash is life. They do have a lot of mana to work with, though. Alright, so Rhyme Fang there is interesting. There's a chance they don't end up attacking here. Or there's also a chance that they have a frostbite effect and they're going to eat this. But either way, I think we have to pass. Because we don't want to play this, and if they have the frostbite effect, have them eat this. Even though losing this sucks. That's just the way that it's got to be. Looks like they're actually going to try to do it to our poor Ash here. So there's the frostbite effect. There's sadly nothing we can do about this. We have Take Heart, but it can only target this. The frostbite does not count as an injury, so... That is sadly going to be all she wrote there. But we're going to play another big boy. Or girl. This could easily be the Queen Wild Claw. Now we have our own troop to potentially pull some heinous shenanigans with. I think here we want to try to trade this. We do also have this Take Heart, but we're going to wait and see how they assign blockers. You know they're going to assign it, but they might also spend some mana, so... Alright, so we push a little bit of overwhelm damage. They get to answer back with a lot of mana, but we get some trades, so... again, our goal right now is pressure. I feel like they have a superior late game, and so the sooner we can capitalize, the better. And a seer, okay.
I've survived a few winters!
Alright.
Bring me the
They
calm
play
of
a
an
Rhyme
ice-shrouded
Tusk, which is going to
world.
shut this down. But we could also then play Tryndamere, which would just hit our Tryndamere. The other option could be Elnuk and like even Catalyst. And then we could try to play Tryndamere next round. So like this could hit this, and then we could just develop Tryndamere and swing the following turn. I think I like that. Plus this just thins, right? So they did their Elnuk thing. Hey! And we do ours, and that's a nice easy surrender, so... Alright. Elnuks are running wild. That's going to be it for this video. That's the 2 games here. Again, we're going to play through this whole thing. I'm going to share with you all the games, win or lose. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Hopefully you will consider subscribing and check out the rest of this expedition run at least. So thanks for watching.